Hello and welcome to Philosophy 11 Critical Thinking. I am your instructor, Professor Vitt. This course will be taking place entirely online, so there will be no in-class meetings. If you have any questions or concerns regarding this, please let me know. I wanted to start just to kind of get us off on the right foot here. I want to direct your attention to a quote from Jose Vasconcelos, which serves as kind of the theme for the class, which is only books will lift this country out of ignorant cruelty. The idea here is that if we take the time to improve our minds and read books and reflect and develop ourselves rationally, then all of us are better for it, right? As a society, we're all better for it. And as individuals, you'll be better for it, because good thinking is good living. When you're thinking properly, you're making the right kinds of decisions, you're making the best decisions you can, and that will result in a higher quality of life for you. So very generally, that's the point of the course. We want you to learn to have as many true beliefs as possible, and then minimize the number of false beliefs that you have. This will make you more accurate and allow you to sort of interact with the world in a better way. Now, that's the general theme of the course. I want to talk about your grade, which is what most people are interested in, right? How do I actually get the grade that I want? In this course, you have three components that determine your grade. The first here is a paper on Roswell. It's 4 to 5 pages, and it's essentially an argumentation paper. The next component of your grade comes at the very end. It's a presentation that you will deliver. That is, you'll compose it. You won't have to present it to anyone. It's 15%. You'll turn it in online, either as a Microsoft PowerPoint or Google Slides presentation. The remainder of your grade stems largely from the quizzes which you will take, the exams that you will take online. Now, these are not weekly quizzes or exams, but they are almost weekly. It probably averages out to one a week or one every other week or something like that. So those will be where you're going to want to direct most of your time and most of your attention. They are, and especially as we begin the course, open book and open note. This is because some with an unlimited number of retakes, and this is because not everyone has the book yet, and so I'm very sympathetic to that. So this first module will be very straightforward. You should feel comfortable taking the exam again if you need to, and so forth. And then I'll give you plenty of advance notice when we're going to make the quizzes so that there are no more retakes. So for now, breathe easy. You're starting this class in a really sort of great, straightforward way. If you don't have the book, don't worry, but get it. Okay. We have another wonderful quote here from Mary Wollstonecraft. She says, "The being cannot be termed rational or virtuous who obeys any authority but that of reason." And essentially, what she's saying is, in order to really fully understand what it is to be a good person or a rational person, you need to be able to employ reason. So it's a very similar idea to Vasconcelos above, just in a different time and place. These are your 3 student learning outcomes from the course. This is what the state of California wants you to be able to do when you're done with this course. Analyze arguments and components of arguments, distinguish between examples of inductive arguments and deductive arguments, and lastly, evaluate inductive arguments for strength, cogency, and/or presence of fallacies in speech or text. Each of those things are going to sound like Greek to you right now because you haven't taken the course yet. Essentially, the first one says, there are 2 kinds of reasoning and you're going to be able to tell me the difference between the 2. The second thing says, look, there are certain features that some kinds of arguments have, and that makes them bad or good depending on what the feature is. You're going to learn to evaluate those things. So it should be, it sounds very intense, but it's actually a really good course that you'll become familiar with the concepts, and I think you'll get a lot out of them. Another little inspirational quote here. We have an old picture of what has come to be known as the Indian rope trick, a frozen rope trick. And the idea here I put is doubt grows with knowledge. So the idea is the more that you come to know about the world and the more that you begin to develop your mind and your rational faculties, very often you realize, gosh, I don't know much about this. If you've ever taken a biology course, and you've not had a lot of experience with this, I remember this happened to me when I was in college and I took a bio class, and I thought, I can't believe that anyone knows all of this stuff. And I understood at that point that if I really want to have a firm understanding of something, I need to return to it again and again. Okay. Next sort of inspirational page is Roswell. You may remember Roswell in July of 1947, or so the story goes. An alien craft landed and crashed in Roswell, New Mexico. With your paper, you'll be evaluating the evidence for that. Now, this paper ties in directly to the student learning outcomes above that I mentioned. It's just that the context in which these things take place are sort of, a really extraordinary one, meaning we're going to do all the stuff we need to do, but we're going to do it in a really fun way. We're going to talk about aliens, and we're going to talk about psychics, right? Second sight. We'll talk about perception and the faculties of perception that you have, and how those faculties can lead you astray and keep you from true beliefs. We'll talk about memories and how, although we tend to have a great deal of confidence in our memories, they turn out to be pretty darn awful. And lastly, control your mind or someone else will. I think it's kind of another way of saying what we want to get to in this course, which is I want you to learn to develop your mind so that you can think for yourself. This course is not you learning a number of facts and then sort of walking away and you're done. Instead, this is a course more about learning how to argue and evaluate information and evidence. This is page 13 here of our syllabus. We have another quote from Aristotle. It's the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. Again, very similar to the quotes above. The idea is a person who is educated, a mind that is developed, is willing to genuinely consider the other side of an issue and then make a decision. This is my email right here, rvitt@lbcc.edu. These are my office hours in T2353. I'm always there. I'm not always there. These are the times that I'm there. So I am always there during my listed times. And if you need to see me at another time, please let me know, and I'll see if we can make an appointment. This is our required textbook right here by Jonathan Smith, Pseudoscience and Extraordinary Claims of the Paranormal. There are things about this book that I really, really like, and there are things about this book that I'm not as big of a fan of. Smith is a good writer. He certainly knows an awful lot about psychology, but I think that some of the sections on logic are not as strong as they could be, and I also think that Smith tends to jump a little quickly when discussing religion. And so I'd ask you to realize that the views of the instructor are not always, the views of the author of this book are not always my views. And there are portions of this book that we will overlook entirely, principally a number of these questions he has about organized religion. If you're interested in religion and philosophy, I would encourage that you take Philosophy of Religion with Professor Matt Lawrence. It's a great class, and he goes into sort of some of the stuff you'd be interested in. Okay, additional instructor contact. Here I am on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I am not as often on Facebook, but I am more often on Twitter. So I encourage you, if you don't get me on my email, rvitt@lbcc.edu, go ahead and fire me a tweet. Notes about dropping the course. I don't drop the course, you guys do. So if you send me an email and says I want to drop the course, unfortunately it won't be enough. You'll need to go to admissions and records or contact them or figure out a way to do it. I don't process that here. Class participation. This class proceeds on a modular basis. So once we finish one unit, boom, it's gone forever and it disappears, no makeup. So if you miss a deadline, it's all over, right? There will be no makeup. Now, the reason why this course is set up this way is because if I don't set it up this way, you guys won't do well in the course. There's actually a lot of data on this. MIT has done a study, and they showed that classes with firm dates statistically have more student success. Where students are able to sort of fudge and do what they want, they don't do as well. So that's why we have it set up that way. Content disclaimer. I mentioned a little bit about what we look at in this course. UFOs, psychics, this kind of stuff. It's not because I want you to believe or not to believe in any of it. In fact, what you believe has nothing to do with your grade in the course. All that this is it's a context, it's an area where we can apply these tools of thought. And the reason why this is a really good area is because these are cases that are considered to be strange. They're sort of considered to be outside our worldview. So Roswell. We don't see aliens like this running around very often. So this is kind of an anomaly. It would be an unusual thing to have this happen. What we want to do is look at what's going on when we form beliefs from these extreme cases. And if we know that we can form beliefs properly from an extreme case, then we can do it in other cases too. Okay, now briefly, I just want to draw your attention. Obviously, you will need to have internet access for the course. I will assume that your email address is the proper email address that Moodle has. I don't have any other access, so please, if you do not have Moodle recognizing your email, I would encourage you to change that immediately. Otherwise, you will likely get something from me, but you won't know it. Academic integrity and plagiarism. This is a sort of very long and thorough description in the syllabus, but all I want to tell you is, number one, by taking this course, you are verifying that you are the person taking this course. It's not someone else doing it for you. And you're certifying that to the school. Number two, when you have to write a paper, I want you to write the paper. I don't want someone else to. It wouldn't be appropriate. And so I do look at your papers when you turn them in, and I do use Turnitin and things like that in order to check for plagiarism. So I just want to ensure, if you ever have a question while we're doing the paper, and I'll go over this when we get to the paper, maybe somebody writes something a certain way and you just have to use it that way, that's fine. Put it in quotes, cite where you got it, and then explain the quote and why it was so great. It's called ICE, I-C-E. But don't worry, we'll get there later. Okay. Student Success Centers, highly encourage you guys to take advantage of those resources. The same with Access Services. We have a great Veterans Affairs office here in Long Beach City College. Strongly encourage you to check out Veterans Affairs office. If you are a veteran, thank you for your service. Career and Job Services Center. This is not something that many people take advantage of. You really should. They will look at your resume, they will find out about your job skills, and they can help you. So this is not something that I've seen a lot of students do, but the students who do always come back to me and say, thank you for telling me to go to the Job Services Center. I'm in a much better place. Assignments. So we have a sequence of assignments here at the back, but this is subject to revision, and this is for your benefit, not mine. So if we're going through a module and I'm getting a lot of activity and students are struggling, then I'm happy to slow down the course. Conversely, if there are a number of students who are just eating it up and they really, really want to get ahead, I will try to open other modules earlier, but that is not the norm and that would be unusual. The reason why is this is not a correspondence course, it's a paced course run by an instructor. Late assignments, remember, there are no late assignments. So once our date hits for you to complete something, then it's closed forever. So please don't miss assignments. Classroom decorum online. An online class is similar similar to a face-to-face class in that you have to be respectable. You have to be respectable. No, you don't actually have to be respectable. But you have to be respectful to your colleagues. This is because they may have opinions that genuinely differ from you, and if we become hostile and we interact in an adverse way, then it's no longer a learning environment. It's a fight. Nobody wants that. So be polite with the terms that you use and understanding when you guys interact on discussion boards and stuff. Academic freedom. This is not something that, I think this is important, and I don't know that it necessarily gets mentioned, but part of education is being exposed to ideas that you are not necessarily in agreement with. And as I mentioned earlier, I don't need you to completely accept these ideas, but I need you to be able to articulate them. And if you don't accept them, it's great. That's no problem at all, because presumably you don't accept them for a reason or a series of reasons. And when you can furnish those reasons and explain yourself, you're doing critical thinking, right? So I don't care what you think, I care how you think. Fair enough? Okay. This is a fast-paced course. Now, this little disclaimer here is not correct. We don't do 3 weeks every week, but we do a lot. And so if this is a course where you feel like, gosh, I'm not going to be available for 3 weeks or something like that, I want to encourage you to give up your spot to another student who's ready and willing to take this on. Okay, and this is our schedule. It is, of course, subject to revision, but you'll notice that there's a format here. You will watch a lecture online, you'll read the chapter, then you'll take an exam. Rinse and repeat. That's essentially the course. I will always lay it out as cleanly as possible in Moodle. If you know for a fact you're going to be leaving for a certain period of time or something like that, remember, these are closed, and once they're closed forever, so I need you to make sure you finish your work on time. Okay, if you guys have any questions or comments, I know this is a lot to go over, please don't hesitate to email me or tweet me or drop by my office. I am always happy to see my online students. So I hope you guys really enjoy this class. It is one of my favorite to teach. I love teaching it, and I really love teaching online. So I look forward to seeing you guys in the class and online, and I will talk to you all soon. Thanks very much. Have a great fall semester.